You. Hello, hello, hello. Hopefully, you guys are having a good day. Can you guys hear me now? I didn't realize my audio was off. Yeah. Hope you guys had a good day and things are going well for you. Can I get a yo or the audio is good or anything else in the chat? That would be very helpful. Venugopal, hi bro, what's up? Just came across your channel. Hey, welcome to the family, bro. Idro, me is what happy. Somewhat happy. Nice. Nice, Idor. Hi, how was your guys' day, man? How was your guys' day? Did anything exciting, anything fun? Enjoyed? I somewhat fixed my poor server. Oh yeah. That's I think your go-to thing right now. Isn't it? Nice. Cloudflare. Venugopal, how are you doing, brother? Welcome to the family, man. How was your day? Had a good day? Enjoyed? Ready for some hacking? Learning about networking specifically today. Today there is something interesting today though. This is something very practical and we can check with our stuff, our own stuff. So I'm actually excited to show you guys that. So with that being said, right, like I think now you guys can hear me, everything is fine. Let's get started. Here is the channel the room link for TryHackMe. This is a premium room, so only for paid people, right? But good part is you don't have to pay anything here. Just you can also get all the information as long as you watch this, right? So hope you guys are ready. Notes are ready. Let's get started with TryHackMe core protocols. Learn about the core TCP/IP protocols. So we already learned about what is TCP/IP. A little bit went into some how the layers work and blah blah blah. But now we are going to go and see some of the protocols that are built on top of TCP/IP, which are very important. So this room is the third room in a series of four rooms about computer networking. Networking concepts we completed, essentials we completed. This room is the core protocols one. After this, we are going to cover secure protocols. Room prerequisites. To benefit from this room, we recommend that you know the following: ISO OSI model and layers, TCP/IP model and layers, Ethernet, IP, and TCP protocols, which we all covered in the last room. Excuse me. In other words, starting this room from networking concept is the recommended approach. Yo, Idor, what's up, brother? Howdy, howdy. I was about to ping you in Discord. It was good. So, learning objective. By the time you finish this room, you will have learned about the following protocols: who is important, DNS very important, and I have a good analogy for DNS. So if you guys don't understand DNS before, you will now. HTTP and FTP, and lastly the SMTP, POP3, and IMAP. Click on Start Attack Box button at the top for to start the machine. Kido. Get your notepad ready. Improved VM and VPN structure. We have migrated you to our improved regional infrastructure. Your VPN server is now automatically assigned based on your selected virtual machine region. For the best performance, select a virtual machine that's globally closest to you. Okay. Please download a new VPN. Okay, they have moved stuff. That's interesting. But it was so much fun creating a server and configuring. Me is happy. That's good. That's good, my man. So we have to go to the access room. No, it's just here. Okay. And we'll just use our attack box for today. That's Idor, boss. That's Idor. Yeah, probably this is his security com. This is what he do all his naughty stuff with. Okay, now DNS, remembering addresses. Wait, let me go complete this. Check completed. Okay, yep, dose is wrench. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, do you remember the IP address? Right. So we are going to cover DNS, which is like a very important thing you guys have used every day with Google.com, right? And let's see what it is. And if you guys don't understand, I have a good analogy for this, right? So, do you remember the IP addresses of your favorite websites? Do you know the IP address of this channel? Unless it is a private IP address of a local device, no one needs to worry about memorizing IP addresses. It is in part due to the main DNS, due to the domain name system, which is responsible for properly naming a domain name to an IP, right? So, what they are saying, right? When, if you want to approach a app, right? If you want to approach a search engine, a app, or anything, right? It is hosted on a server. So a server will have a IP address, right? Like 1.1.23.250, something like that, right? So because you don't have to remember this, what you have to remember is a domain name. A domain name is basically a URL like google.com, right? That's a domain name. It is basically attached, right, to this IP address. So you don't have to remember this IP address. So no one needs to memorize the IP addresses. This is part due to the domain name system, which is responsible for properly mapping a domain name, a URL, to a IP address. DNS operates at application layer, layer 7 of the ISO OSI model, the top one. DNS traffic uses UDP port 53 by default and TCP port 53 as a default fallback. So it first uses UDP is the preferred one for DNS, but if not, it will fall back to TCP. There are many types of DNS records. However, in this task, we will focus on the following four. What are DNS records? We'll see, because this is something, if you are actually about to host your website ever, right, which I recommend you should, is a great thing to learn. You will be able to like learn about these things and see every single one of its importance. So, first is the A record. The address record maps a host name, a URL, to one or more IPv4 addresses. For example, you can set example.com to resolve 172.17.2.172. Important thing is you can map a URL to one or many hosts. A lot of people would be like, why? Right? Let's first think about what DNS is, right? Let me give you a really beautiful explanation. You have your iPhone, your Android, right? You have that. There's an app in there called Contacts, right? In Contacts, what you have? You have the name of the person and the phone number. You don't have to memorize the phone number of everyone in the contact list. What you have to just remember is the name, right? It could be Censored Hacker, it could be Idor, it could be Wrench, it could be Dose, right? Yeah. So you have to, right? Like they will have my number 1, 2, 3, IDO's number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This could be 0, 0, 1, right? Something like that. You don't have to memorize these phone numbers to like able to contact someone. You just have to remember the name who you want to contact. Similarly, right, in real world, when it comes to the application or the URLs and the IP address, this is same thing with DNS. You as a person don't have to remember the IP address. You just have to remember the URL, like google.com. And as humans, it's easy for us to remember these things, right? There's google.com, there is facebook.com, and there is microsoft.com. And they will have their own IP, their own IP, their own IP, right? Now, as a person can have multiple phone numbers, right? A person can have multiple phone numbers. So, for example, there's space for doors, right? Doors have phone number 5, 6, 7, and also 1, 167, right? Let's say 167. A person can also have, like, it can have just not just two but like many more, right? And that's the same thing with DNS. Google can have multiple IP addresses. Why to have multiple IP addresses? Because Google is a very popular application. It needs multiple servers to host its application, right? So if there are thousands of people are coming, 500 can go on one server, 500 can go on other server, or 100 can go on one server, and 100. There are 10. It can have 10 servers which all are handling 100 customers, right? So that's why a domain can have multiple IP address, 1, 2, 3. It can have like any amount of IP addresses it wants. So that's why it says the A address maps a host name to one or more IP addresses. One or more. It has to be more. It has to be one at least, and then more. Uh, Quad 4 record, like 4 times A record. The 4 times A record, the A record, is similar to the A record, but it is for IPv6 addresses. Remember that it is quad A, as double A and triple A would refer to a battery size. So if you know there is triple A battery, there is double A battery, so they went for 4 A's. Furthermore, triple A refers to authentication, authorization, accounting. Neither falls under DNS. So it doesn't confuse. That's why they named it 4 A's. That's all. And in this case, instead of like having an IPv4, they will have IPv6 address. CNAME, the canonical name record, maps a domain name to another domain name. For example, www.example.com can be mapped to example.com or even example.org. Let's try it. CNAME for Microsoft.com, Autodiscover, Outlook.com, all these Microsoft.com. There are so many big companies, all of them have so many of these. The root domain, Microsoft.com, right? And you can have it's just going for those ones. Let's see, let me try. So if I, instead of like first I have Facebook.com, but I don't want to go on there. Let's say I want to go on Facebooks.com. Still goes to Facebook.com. Like if you see, I entered the S. I don't want to proceed. Should have gone to the same one. Hasn't? Okay. When I do www, when I do www, facebooks.com goes to facebook.com. So Microsoft has so many, Apple has so many, and Microsoft has sued so many people because a lot of companies had names similar to Microsoft, like Microsoft and all those. So they do all the time. Same with Facebook. But yeah, that's what CNAME records are. So basically, to give you an example with this, right, with our phone names, I know. Let's remove these two people. I know wrench and doze belong to the same people, right? Very good morning or good evening, panda. So a person like me, I know wrench and doze are same people. So what I can do here? Make it better. So I know wrench and doze are same people. So for I already created a record named doze and linked it to these two one, right? I can also create another record wrench and have the same idea here. Have the same record but with a different name. So I in my phone, if you search wrench or doze, you will be able to find both of them related to same thing. Or I can have inside wrench, I can have a note say, hey, if you're looking for wrench, look for the contact doze. Right? Same thing here. Microsoft, what it does, or Facebook, right? When we try to hit facebook.com, it goes to, let's say, the IP address, it's IPv4 address. But when I try to hit something like facebooks.com, what happens is CNAME is facebook.com, right? So it will change itself to facebook.com, and what will happen? Facebook.com will point to this one. And that's what CNAME is because let's say if your company, like for example, Facebook itself, right? It changed its name to Meta. So Meta will go to this meta.com should go to the same as facebook.com if I'm not wrong. Facebooks.com, uh, books, bookface.com, something, those type of words. Facebook, I won't be surprised if they have hundreds of domain names attached to them. Same with Microsoft, these big companies, so nobody is able to steal their clients or people don't go to the wrong website, which is owned by their competitors. They buy hundreds of domains, and there is actually like I will say a whole big market for people who wants to buy domains which are actually exclusive. For example, chatgpt.com, before ChatGPT was released by OpenAI, somebody else owned it and they were able to like ask OpenAI thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars just for because they own that domain. So it's a whole business, same as like social medias where on x.com or on Instagram, a name like Fox, a username like Fox would be way more popular than any other name, let's say Alpha Beta Gamma, something, right? So it's a whole different business. Next is the MX record. This is a very important one for a hacker because the mail exchange record specifies the mail server responsible for handling emails of the domain. So I have something called, my website is Hackers Pub, right? hackerspub.org. This is my website, right? What I do with this website? I want Outlook to handle all my stuff. All the emails go go to Outlook because I paid Outlook subscription. What will happen? Outlook will say, hey, there are two servers I'm giving you. One could be, let's say, alpha alpha 123 dot outlook.com and alpha 567. Remember, these are the URLs too, but they are pointing to a special kind of server owned by Outlook, right? So what I will do in hackerspub.org, where I'm mentioning all my DNS records, for MX record type, I will have these two names, right? Because, oh, okay. I didn't know it's night time there. Okay, that's good night, Panda. No, I think it's evening there. Yeah, in Europe. But yeah, as I was saying, right, MX records, this means that if anybody sends email to, let's say, admin at hackerspub.org, Outlook will take those emails, right? They will be sent to these servers and I'm able to access it. Howdy, Rover. Howdy, bro. So it will be able to access, and my when I go to my Outlook, it is going to access these servers to see, okay, what is there, right? And Outlook has hundreds or thousands of it. Why it is important? Because as a hacker, if you are able to see what mail exchange server they are going to, you can actually go to that mail server. You can talk to that mail server because you get to know what is the URL. Then from URL, you can find what is the IP address and then you can talk to the server directly. In other words, when you type example.com in your browser tries to resolve this domain name by querying the DNS server for the A record. However, when you try to send an email to test at example.com, the mail server would query the DNS server to find the MX record. So when you go through the browser, it looks for this. When you go through when you send the email, it goes to this record. Is same as when you are when you are going through your friends list, right? A friend, let's say CH on your contact list, right? There would be a home number, a business number. You know, this is like, let's say 9 to between 9 to 5, you know, I'm at work, so I don't pick up my home phone. I'm not at home, I'm at my work, I'm at my business, so you will call the business number. If you're calling at night time just to chill, you will call my phone number, not my business number. Same thing for a domain. For a domain, same thing. Let's say if you're going on hackerspub.org, if you are going to the website, or if you are sending an email, there are different servers, different ways to contact. If you want to visit the website, there will be a different IP, different server. For email, there will be a different IP or a server. Same idea. If you want to look up the IP address of a domain from the command line, you can use a tool such as nslookup. Consider the example in the terminal below. We can look up example.com. What is example.com is actually hosted on our own server, right? 127.0.0.53, and they're talking about the port 53, I guess. So authoritative answer. Example.com, this IP address, and this is the IPv6 address. Hopefully you guys understand what DNS is, right? What actually DNS does. If that's clear, can you like give me a thumbs up or something? If not, like let me know if you want me to go over something specific again. Is that good? I'll drink some water. Hopefully it's fine. Okay, let me know if you ever want me to like go over a topic. Domain name system looks like a phone book. It is a phone book, yeah. It is 100% a phone book, yes. Just like contactless, phone book, exactly the same thing. So, that's good then. Thank you so much, man. So, the query above led to 4 packets. In the terminal below, we can see the first and the third packet send DNS queries to A and quad 4A, quad A records, respectively. The second and fourth packet show the DNS query response. So we go T shark dash r DNS query package, right? We see, and so at this time from our server, it was sent to this DNS server. Standard query. What is the A record for example.com? Right? This was the query. Now is the response. This is the IP address. For quad A record for example.com, here is your response. We can also look in R1, try reconnecting. If you want to go on google.com, let's try. I don't know why this is like not working. How about I shut this one down? Start again. Okay. Okay. So till then, right, let's look. Which DNS record type refers to IPv6 address, lads? This is what you have to answer. Which DNS record type refers to email server? So there are 4. You have to tell me about the IPv6 one and DNS one. There are actually many more types, but these 4 are like basic ones, which you actually really need. And you will see in every single one domain name. Okay. What are the answers, lads? Come on, let me hear it. The IPv6 DNS record and then the email server record out of these 4. Wrench is not speaking because probably he saw the IP address and he's looking to hack into that machine. Lads, lads. What's the address? What's the answer? Come on. DNS record type for IPv6 and DNS for email server. Take the hint from here. Okay, and we have our terminal ready. Let's do a DNS record. Yes, you answer. NS lookup google.com. So if we go on google.com, right, you guys can see there are so many servers it has. So many. There's IPv6, IPv4, right? And if we do same for like Facebook, same thing. What is the question? Question is what? Wait, 000 or huh? DNS record type for IPv6 and DNS record type for email servers. Let's look up just this. Huh. Facebooks then. Different. Microsoft has multiple. This one is 000. It's interesting. What about AWS? Damn, AWS definitely has a couple. Same with GCP. I guess. Okay. Good night, Panda. A very goody good night to you. Lads. I'm not. I want to hear answers because this will mean. Thank you so much, Panda. Thank you. I need the answers though because like this will mean at least you are able to understand what I'm saying. Quad 4, thank you. NMX records, thank you, Dose. Thank you, Wrench. F my brain not working. Okay, sounds good, man. Don't worry, this is the last task we are doing for today. We'll do complete task 3. Then tomorrow we can do what is tomorrow. Today is Wednesday. Thursday we'll complete task 4 and 5, and on Friday we can complete SMP, POP, and IMAP. So this week we'll be able to complete this room. Don't you worry. So next is the who is protocol. In the previous task, we covered how a domain name is resolved to an IP address. However, for this to happen, someone needs to have the authority to set the A, Quad A, and the MX records, among other DNS records for the domain, right? Because as I mentioned, there can be multiple records. There are lot of records, but main ones are A, Quad A, MX, and then CNAME. Those are a couple of main ones, right? Whoever registers a domain name is granted this power. Therefore, if you register example.com, you can set any valid DNS records for example.com. You can just go and buy a domain. There are so many ways you can buy a domain, right? So many ways. GoDaddy, Squarespace domain, Namecheap is a big one. Wix.com. So many places you can buy. Cloudflare, right? You can buy those domain names and then you can pick a company to help put that information out that you own the domain name and where you want that server, like Cloudflare. You can register any available domain name. It should be available. You can't register google.com because it's taken. You can register, let's say, not google.com. Is that available? Not Google. Not Google app. Not Google is already taken. Or not Google Store. Those are interesting things to buy. Just saying. So you can register any available domain name for 1 or more years. You need to pay the annual fee and you are required to provide accurate contact information to the registrant, right? So if you buy, let's say I bought, let's say not google.com, I have to provide my information like what is my name, or if I am going through a company, what is the company name, contact number sometimes, blah, blah, blah. So this, and even the email address. So this information is part of the data available via who is record and is available publicly, right? So if, let's say, I own a particular domain name, certain information is available. Same as, let's say, if I own a house, certain information about me, that who is the owner of this house, is there in the public records, so nobody else can claim this property. And I have to keep on paying my property tax. Same way, I have to pay an annual fee for a domain to keep owning that. This information is part of the data available via who is records and is available publicly, although written in uppercase. Who is not an acronym, is pronounced who is. However, don't worry if you want to register a domain without revealing your contact information publicly. You can use one of the privacy services that hide all the information from who is records, right? So we'll see with google.com, because Google actually provides a really good one called who is Google. Whois.com, right? Google, and there is like couple other ones out there. You can type, like I've used I can look up. I can use a domain name. Let's say if I go www.google.com, google.com is registered, right? Registrant is Google, right? What all other information are out there? Let's say now I want to look up, I don't want to go for, let's say, not Instagram. Give me a domain name if you have in mind. I'll go stream elements .com. Not found in there. Oh, Stream Elements name servers are Cloudflare, so their DNS provider. My site, I didn't want to do that, but okay. So you see who is the registrant? Cloudflare. They signed up with. So much more information. My site, let's try my site. I don't want to do it, but okay. Okay, so these are the name servers. Yes, I remember the Jasper name. This is the person I signed with, right? This is my Squarespace I bought my stuff with. So you see, registrant restricted for privacy. So I have not, you can't see my name or my company name if I registered with, right? Because I mentioned that, hey, I do not want this information publicly. Yeah, Cloudflare has been having some issues. Rover, if you went like earlier, you see Idor mentioning something about Cloudflare. This one. So Cloudflare is having fun recently. Yeah, AI man, that's their AI vibe coding coming in handy in my opinion. Every time site code goes down, is in my opinion at this point is just vibe coding. The reason I don't even if somebody says it got hacked, no, it was vibe coded. I'm just in my own realm. But that's like it's a really good thing because now you know which company they have their services from. As a hacker, right? You can actually send emails about it. AI is such a threat. I'm dumbfounded on how the AAA organizations are just throwing into their system. It's all about betting, right? Like majority of them, like it's same as like we saw. This is not the first time we are seeing. It's same as those NFT projects, right? Like 99% of them were supposed to fail and they did fail. One or two are still going, but 99% of them have failed. It's same thing. 99% of the AIs will fail, one or two will work out, and probably, in my opinion, those would be the open source one. Instantly open a tenfold attack surface. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true. Okay, going back, right? However, don't worry if you want a register without you want to register a domain without revealing your information. You can mention that, hey, I do not want this information to be public. Who can use one of the privacy services that hide? You can use one of the privacy services to hide all information from the who is record. It's very important to know because like to hide this information specifically, because on Darknet Diary I think there was a pizza problem. That was the episode name. Trainwithben.ca. Okay, sounds good. Alt tab. uh, I can look up. Okay, train with Ben. Let's see. So there's, oh, okay, this trend information signed, retracted the value. Same thing. So you went through google.com, sorry, name server. It's taken down now, but probably has records of something somewhere here. This is the current like registrant. Registrar. Interesting, interesting. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, yeah. I did Google domain too for name server. Wayback Machine. Let's go. Yeah. These days, almost every website is integrating a AI chatbot. Are they using APIs from ChatGPT? Yeah, yeah, yeah. They are 100% using AIs from ChatGPT, man. That's the easiest way, right? Like that's the easiest way. And you know the interesting part about that? Majority of them, if something happens, they are just going to throw that OpenAI is the wrong one. Let's say if their chatbot said, "Oh, do this, spend all your money on the this bet," they are just going to put the problem back to OpenAI. It's very interesting how things work, man. And OpenAI is such a big company; they don't care. Okay, now I was talking about like some interesting thing, right? Why it's important to hide your information sometimes. This one, right? As I was mentioning, social media, these things, right? If you go on like buy Instagram username, so it's against Instagram terms of policy, but honestly, the world doesn't care, right? Because you can actually buy these things. You can actually buy or sell accounts of social media. And let's say there is this guy who actually in here, right? I think it was Twitter. In 2005, he had it, right? Sounds good. I think his name was Fox, if I'm not wrong, or Wolf. No. He joined Twitter in 2008, which was way Twitter only came out in 2007, and he had a really good username. You have to go through this one, but like this was such a good and wake up call because like whenever you send information, the pizza problem. Have a look at this Darknet Diaries episode, lads. This one talks about like how big of a market is that this guy who has a really good what's it called username on Twitter, he was basically harassed, right, to give up his username or sell. He was like forced to either sell it or harassed to give it up. Very interesting thing and such a big dark market because he had a good one. Nah, Rover I think is good, man. Rover is good in that case. But there is like actually a pretty good dark market for this. Claim inactive username. Oh, that's cool. If a username you want being used by an account that seems inactive, you choose an available version of the. Interesting. But yeah. That's one more thing, right? Just like domain name, usernames are a big thing too at this point. So always hide as much information as possible. Now, let's go back to, you can look up the who is records for any registered domain name, right? Using one of the online services or via the command line tool called who is. Available on Linux systems among others, right? So another we have, just like we had NSLOOKUP, we have, can I go a little bit back? Mm, okay, you guys can see, right? So we had NSLOOKUP. Now we'll do who is, I think google.com. Let's try. So much information we get, man. Holy. Same thing as like, so the websites we went to, these guys are doing the same thing what this command does, right? Bro, does Darknet Diary provide newsletter services to email or do you read them? Darknet Diaries is actually a podcast. I just have it downloaded on my phone, and no matter which phone type you has, they are this podcast is available on them. Really good one. What is the update on the game? The update actually didn't like his one didn't happen. So his one didn't went through, man. So this is the Darknet Diaries, and I haven't sent the email because I wanted to like wait to see if it gets updated, but now it hasn't right over the night, so now I can just go over. I can send the email. But yes, as I was mentioning, right? Yeah, the stream elements one, yeah. Because it didn't get updated, I wanted to wait before it gets updated, right? Just to see. But Rupankar, right? Go on Darknet Diaries. It's a really good one. Just go for a walk listening to this. Really good, man. Really good podcast. Top, I will say it's like at least in the world, I think it's very much top five, if not top two, top five cybersecurity podcast in the world. Really good delivery. Okay, let's lock in. I think we have just little bit information left, right? And we can complete this. Yeah, lads. The one who doesn't like and sub is dash 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 dash. So like, share, subscribe. Okay, going back. So what these website like I can look up, who is lookup, all these one, what they are doing in the background, they're just running who is command in Linux, right? And getting whatever the information they were showing. As expected, a whois record provides information about the entity that registered a domain name, including name, phone number, email, and address. In the screenshot shown below, you can see when the record was first created and when it was last updated. Moreover, you can find the registrant's name, address, phone, and email. Right? You can find all this information. And why it is important to put that information, because there's so much illegal stuff happen online. If somebody wants to send this information, at least government can, or like feds can go and knock his door, basically. In the terminal output below, you can use the whois command to look up a domain name whose um, whois record is protected by privacy protection. So retracted.com, so they are not showing the name. Where the who is the registrant who they purchased the website from? GoDaddy, which is a really interesting name itself. Updated 2017, created 1993. So GoDaddy LLC is the registrant. If there is any abuse, contact them. Blah blah blah. Right? When was the x.com record created? Provide the answer in this format. So let's check. Let's check. I hate this machine. The server quality has gone so down, man. I don't like it. Earlier ones were better. Okay. You already did it? Okay. Okay, I'll take you for 1993 0402. Damn. When was the Twitter.com record created? Okay, let's look at that one too. So for first we'll do x.com. Created in 1993, this one, right? Updated 2024. Now let's look at Twitter. Twitter was like later, huh? 2001, 21, yeah. It's a really crazy like domain name to own, like though. Not Twitter, but like x.com. Such a crazy and more so expensive. Excuse me. Need to drink my tea still. Oh yeah, YouTube. Jack Resider. That's the guy. Actually, it's interesting. Like, have a look at what is the most expensive domain name in the world. Like, you need to check that. The answer is incorrect. Month, day. Oh, 2000, not 2001. Okay, beautiful. Okay, lads. So that was it for today. Tomorrow we'll go over HTTPS. No, 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 no. It's adulterated stuff. That's all I can say. And that's where the world goes. It's a three-letter word. It's a three-letter word. I think that is the one. Last time it was sold for some like 56 million or something. Nope, nope. The third three-letter one. Oh, the most expensive. This is changed. Domain name ever sold is cars.com, which is 872 million in 2014. Include business.com, lasvegas.com. I thought it was the other one. Yeah, yeah. That's how it is. Voice.com stuff. Which these are very important. These are very important. I believe what was cost of domain 13 million in 2010, 20 million in 2023. Okay. I thought it was like almost. Which one was it then? Like that was sold for like so many, like one. Most expensive domain names. So it would be cars.com. That's crazy. 872. Business.com. Las Vegas. Car insurance, of course. Vacation rentals. Private jet. Voice.com. Internet.com. 360.com. Damn. Yeah. yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's also considered almost an asset too, right? FB.com by Facebook. So if you owned FB.com before Facebook had it, you could have asked for this much money, $8.5 million, then they would have given it. Oh, sold for 8.5 million in 2010. and it was acquired by Facebook. It's important, like, to own these runs, right? There are some people who have been able to, like, I think ChatGPT guy. The company behind ChatGPT acquired Chat.com in November 2024. Now it redirects to ChatGPT. Previously owned by HubSpot co-founder Dharmesh Shah. For 15 million, he sold it. So it is definitely a thing, right? Like, there is some people who actually had these and just hold it. It was the FB before FB.com. Yeah, he owned the FB. Imagine selling a single domain and never have to work again. Yeah. Not only domain, like username. So every time a new social media comes up, you you get like a sign up with, let's say, fox.com, facebook.com itself on those social media, right? And just sell them to those companies later if the social media becomes bigger. Yeah, Geo and Hotstar. Yeah, yeah. A big. This is actually a genuinely. I'm not even kidding. This is genuinely what's this called, a career, a proper business. And it's interesting how big things, like how crazy the world is, how the money goes is crazy. And today we have another crazy thing happening. Today the AI's own baby is about to have its earnings. Today is the earning calls from Nvidia, and if things don't go well, the bubble bursts. So many people are going to lose so much money. So many things can happen if Nvidia doesn't hit big numbers this one. So today is interesting stuff, man. Today is interesting stuff, and tech is interesting today. Busted, bro. So many people will lose job. It's crazy. And so many people will lose so much money. It's crazier. Yeah, I believe this quarter it will hit bigger because, like, of so many deals that happened and so many money moving around. 100% will happen. And I think last thing before I leave, because it's time, right? 9. I have stuff starting. No. There is some very interesting Reddit post that happened. Have a look at this one. I'm financially ruined short selling Korean fried chicken companies. Have a look at this one. That's all I'm going to say. Enjoy. A fun story of what, it's not I won't say fun, but like, it's crazy how people do what they do. And the image of the day would be then, the image of the day would be this then. Okay. So have a good one, lads. Enjoy this crazy, another crazy story on the internet. How someone just lost all his money just because this guy um wearing a black jacket touched it, right? How this guy, whatever he touches, just turns into gold at this moment. What he did, what happened, right? So, with that being said, hope you guys have a great day. I will see you in the evening for some lead code top interview 150 problems. Till then, thank you so much, lads. Hope you guys were able to learn stuff today, right? Hopefully, this was a good session. Enjoyed some fun stuff. Till then, I will see you guys in the evening for some lead code and tomorrow for the next 2 tasks on networking core protocols. Till then, this is your favorite neighborhood hacker signing off with a big bye. Bye, lads. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Have a good night. And see you guys tomorrow.